Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago. This scandal is continuing to get worse and worse and worse. Let's get into it. High Court Judge Frank C. Prasad has ordered Commissioner of Police Alistair Guevara to make it clear whether businessman Dominic Hadeed and his wife Genevieve Hadeed are being held under a preventative detention order. Was it signed yet? At TTPS, was it signed yet? It comes after an urgent habeas corpus application challenged the ongoing detentions. The application was filed by former Attorney General and current PNM Senator Faris Al-Rawi. I would have hoped that they would have gotten another lawyer than Al-Rawi, but nevertheless, in this case, most likely they will still come out victorious. I believe so. The matter has been set for Monday morning at 9 a.m. So that's tomorrow, God's willing, at a virtual hearing. The affidavit by Al-Rawi says that the couple has been in custody since June 24th and have not been charged. And in any other, under normal circumstances, they would have had to been released already, people. The government and the TTPS are using the SOE in order to be able to infringe upon people's rights, constitutional rights, to be released from custody if you don't have sufficient evidence to charge them. And as the investigation into the arrest of Dominic Hadeed and his wife Genevieve deepens, new information has surfaced that a couple was arrested in connection with the offense of conspiracy to murder. And listen to it. They have been accused by the state of being involved in a conspiracy to assassinate senior members of the government. Yes. You remember, I think it was last year when it now started with this SOE too. They declared this SOE because senior members of the government and the TTPS were being targeted. Yes. So now they're calling names now. So the UNC getting more and more brave, you know? More and more brave. And when I say brave, I mean because of the courts. Basically, they could be brave enough because none of them are going to have to pay the millions of dollars in compensation out of their pockets. It's going to come out from the taxpayers' money. As the investigation into the arrest of Dominic Hadeed and his wife Genevieve deepens, new information has surfaced that the couple was arrested in conspiracy to murder. As I said, the information is contained in 2 search warrants issued in the names of the couple and signed by High Court Master Valeen Guerra Abraham on June 24th. However, there's no disclosure of any intended victim. And yet, somehow or the other, it was revealed to the media that it was members of the government that are being targeted. That's what I read online this morning. So, either the media got it wrong, or it is really rumors that are already spreading. A quantity of electronic devices, including laptops, cell phones, flash drives, hard drives, portable storage devices, and documents were seized from the 2 suspects. It is alleged the devices contained evidence, including photographs, recordings, documents, voice notes, videos, audio recordings, CCTV footage, text, location data, including GPS, location history, application data, communications data, stored communication or stored data in digital or electronic format. Hear the wording they say there. Evidence. So let's just pause for a moment. That is a lot of evidence, right? You know what most likely it is? The people normal videos and photos and messages and stuff like that. They're saying it's evidence because it's in the hands of the police right now. So everything in the hands of the police will be considered evidence. Do you understand how this is being put together? But you see a lot of people outside, they will say, woo, boy, yeah, man, for sure they're going to get catch. My Lord. Anyhow, copies of the warrants formed part of the application by a team of attorneys representing the couple, which was filed in the High Court yesterday. The arrest comes nearly 2 weeks, 2 weeks after 2 weeks days. Anyhow, that's what they had written online there. So I don't understand. I guess it's a typo. 2 weeks days after Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa endorsed a warning by Attorney General John Jeremy that no segment of society, including the so-called 1%, was beyond the reach of the law. Yeah, and then all of a sudden this just come out to nowhere to where we supposed to just fall for it. Yeah, UNC wins, everybody wins. My Lord. While no formal charges have been laid, you hear that part? Did you hear that part? What it is when the opening and the closing of the fridge? Did you hear that part? No charges. No charges. Since the 24th and today is the 28th. 4 days later. 4 days later, no charges. So while no formal charges have been laid, there are unconfirmed reports that investigators are seeking to obtain. Listen to what they're obtaining. Not to carry to the DPP. To get charges later though. No. Here what they're looking for. Seeking to obtain preventative detention orders for them. Yes, people. All that evidence you have in your hands. All, yes, they say videos, footage, bam, 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 messages, all that. And you're looking for a PDO, preventive, what it is? A preventive detention order. You have all that evidence and you're going after preventive detention order instead of charging them? All righty then. My response, allegations, aka a political witch hunt. That is what this is. UNC has now become the same PNM monsters whom they've condemned for decades, people, decades. We're calling how they always going after the political opponents. We know that's what the PNM have done for decades. They don't expect the UNC to do it unless they have actual evidence to arrest people. Did the investigators find any evidence on these devices which can be used in order to charge these individuals with conspiracy to murder? Because they hear the amount of evidence. Look at the amount of evidence, and yet they still haven't charged these people with that kind of evidence. That's overwhelming. They should have been able to present that to the DPP. Say, watch. Look at the amount of messages. Look at the amount of videos. And you're telling me these people so intelligent, so bright, that they would record themselves plotting to take out individuals in the government? That's something like anybody will do that? Eh? My Lord, boy. If yes, so listen to me. Did they gather any evidence? So if yes, then why will there be need for a detention order instead of simply providing this evidence to the DPP 4 days later, you know, people? So you're telling me 4 days later, you have all that evidence, and you're going for a preventative order instead, a detention order instead? Looks like UNC and TTPS intend to use this SOE to detain citizens from all social classes without having sufficient evidence to charge them for the next 4 years. That is what they are doing. That is what they are doing. It even have other cases where community leaders, I will leave it as that, are being detained as well. No charges, you know, month after month after month, no charges. So they are supposedly, they're allegedly community leaders. And yet, after all these months, you have no evidence to be able to provide to the DPP so that you can charge this person so that a trial, a court case can begin. Instead, you have the people in them block up, hide away. Eh? That is what this government is doing. I can't understand. I can't understand that how people can be so obsessed with politics that they could be condoning what is taking place. The tyrant comes. Kamala Pasabi says the Prime Minister, the new tyrant of Trinidad and Tobago, has taken Rowley and PNM dictatorial style of governance and doubled it, just like she did with fines and fees. I love doubles, but not this kind of doubles. You double in autocracy, you're doubling fines, you're doubling fees, you're doubling duties. This woman has become more evil than Rowley, which is extremely hard for anyone to do. Multi-million-dollar lawsuits will take place in the near future, and taxpayers will have to pay the bill. UNC and the TTPS will get away with what they've done to our peoples and nation. That's the sad thing about it is. While the taxpayers will have to probably pay tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of dollars in compensation to these individuals, UNC will continue living the members will continue to live their lives normal. And the TTPS is the same. Nobody going to get fired. Nobody going to get charged for these things, you know. No. And they would not have paid this compensation money out of their pockets either. Investigators raided this couple's home and businesses, seized their devices, and yet still can't charge them with a crime. Why is there a need for a detention order if you have evidence of such a serious crime being committed? With this new national security threat, will this new national security threat be used as an excuse to impose another SOE later this year? Because it seems like that's what it's coming up to, eh? Just within a while. I can't remember how long again, but in a short space of time, and whether it's a few weeks or months, not weeks, but a few months or whatever, this present SOE will expire. And I don't think they have the sufficient votes to extend it again beyond that. So they're going to have to give it a rest for probably about a month, and then they will want to declare an SOE just like they did again last year. So they will use this as an excuse to declare it again. And they will use this in the Commissioner of Police and the TTPS to say, yes, there's an existential threat and we need to declare an SOE again, and then they will do it again and again and again until 2030. God have mercy on this country, boy. It seems as though this PNM 2.0 UNC intends to use these powers to imprison citizens without being charged and convicted for a crime for the next 4 years. Do I believe that they are big fish in TNT? Yes, I do. But this is not the way to catch them. And I don't know if this couple are part of the big fish in the first place. I don't know. I don't know who the big fish are because I have no evidence. So therefore I cannot accuse anyone of being the big fish. There have been rumors for years upon years, but that's just rumors. No one knows who is the big fish. The big fish probably might end up being the big fish who we probably assumed all the years either. You all cannot just continue going on conspiracy theories and locking up people. My Lord, boy, you cannot lock up people based on TTPS intelligence, which usually leads in these type of case which usually results in these type of cases being thrown out of court most of the times, and not even only with the elites, the common man being arrested by the police. They have evidence, so-called evidence. The DPP says, charge them based on this evidence. And when it reaches into court, the court throws it out saying, what kind of evidence you're bringing before me? What is this you bring before me? Go out, go your way with this evidence because this evidence doesn't prove any sort of guilt. So it begs the question, what kind of DPP we have in this country that approves for charges to be laid after looking at the evidence? So you telling me he can't understand and see that this is not making any kind of sense? How much longer will this country continue to allow the TTPS and the DPP office to cost Trinidadians, taxpayers, millions of dollars in compensation for wrongful arrest and false imprisonment and malicious prosecution? How much longer? Taxpayers will, as I said before, and I'll say it again in conclusion, taxpayers will yet again have to compensate these victims with millions of dollars for wrongful arrest and imprisonment on behalf of the TTPS and government. Listen, people, as I conclude, we really need to vote for a new party in 2030 and hope, just hope, that they don't betray us the way UNC has done this time around. Michael Panda, you have an opportunity here. You have a great opportunity here. Because there are a whole lot of people in this country that will never vote for PNM again. They know how evil they are. They know how vindictive they are. They know that the PNM is the father of lies, the father of communism, dictatorship here in Trinidad and Tobago. So they don't want to go back to the PNM. But we have also realized that the UNC is no different. Matter of fact, the UNC taken all what PNM has done and doubled it in evil, right? So now you have a chance, Michaela Pandey. I'm not seeing any other option at this point in time. Maybe it still has 4 years to go. But Michaela Pandey, you have an opportunity here. But you have to stop depending on your father's name. Your father's name didn't make you win last year, and it's not going to make you win in 2030 either. You have to work on building your own reputation. You have to get to reach to the people. Start to have cottage meetings. Start to meet with the people, having different types of public gatherings. Not protest because you might get arrested, right? With this UNC. But cottage meetings and so forth. and meet with the people and grow a base. You have to have a base in order to win. And a lot of people that are disgusted at the UNC and the PNM will end up joining your party. May not be officially, but they will support your party. But you can't just continue staying online or doing like me and just doing videos and whatever and expect to win a general election. You have to do a whole lot more. You know what we won? You know, when UNC wins, everybody wins. The only thing we have won thus far, except for, you know, a little infrastructure improvement here, there, and everywhere. The only thing we have, because we haven't even when Petrotrin being reopened yet. So the only thing we have won thus far is a police state under the UNC and Queen Cams.
Weather report for Trinidad and Tobago Sunday, June 28, 2026. The weather forecast calls for partly cloudy to cloudy conditions with occasional light to moderate showers and a medium 40% to 60% chance of isolated thunderstorms. This rainy weather is driven by lingering atmospheric instability from a passing tropical wave. High temperatures will reach 28 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius, dropping to an overnight low around 24 degrees Celsius. Important local alerts and advisories. Flooding risks. Due to heavy morning downpours, the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service warns that street or flash flooding as well as localized landslips or landslides are highly possible in low-lying or vulnerable areas. Gusty winds. Wind speeds will average 5 to 35 km per hour out of the east-southeast, but you should expect sudden strong gusts in the immediate vicinity of heavy showers or thunderstorms. Marine outlook. Seas are forecast to be slight to moderate. Waves will average 1.0 meters to 1.5 meters in open waters and remain under 1.0 meters in sheltered areas. Note that spring tides are currently in effect, making sheltered bays occasionally choppy. Saharan dust. The atmosphere will remain slightly hazy. If you are highly sensitive to air quality changes, take basic health precautions while outdoors.
International news now. Israel and Lebanon signed a US-backed framework agreement on Friday night aimed at ending the conflict between the two countries, disarming Hezbollah and other non-state armed groups, and paving the way for gradual redeployment of Israeli forces from Lebanese territory. Yeah, but you see, the problem is, the agreement is with Lebanon and Israel, Trump, and Lebanon, of course, Lebanon will want to make peace with Israel. The Hezbollah terrorists, who are proxies of the Iranian terrorists, they don't want to. And the Lebanese military is incapable of disarming the Hezbollah organization. It's incapable. So they're still going to need Israel to do it for them, probably along with them. The agreement reached after multiple rounds of direct negotiations with U.S. mediation states that Israel and Lebanon intend to conclusively end the conflict and formally conclude any state of war between them. I think we heard that about a month ago, telling us Trump just playing games, you know. Trump just playing games. Israel went along with it, but Israel knows for a fact that they are the ones who will have to finish the job. It also affirms the right of both states to exist in peace and their desire to establish peaceful relations as neighboring sovereign states. As the Lebanese people have no issue with Israel. Is the Hezbollah terrorists that are causing all these problems for the Lebanese people and for the Israelis. Under the framework, Lebanon committed to restoring the state's monopoly on the use of force, achieving the complete and verified disarmament of all non-state armed groups, and ensuring that such groups have no military or security role anywhere in the country. Yes, but I think we heard that a few months ago. It isn't much different to the other deal we heard about a couple months ago. The Lebanese armed forces will gradually assume full security responsibility in pilot zones agreed with the IDF. You see, gradually. Why? Because they know very well they cannot overpower the Hezbollah terrorist group on their own. They need the IDF to do it for them, or at least along with them. So the Lebanese armed forces will gradually assume full security responsibility in pilot zones agreed with the IDF, beginning a phased process tied to verify disarmament and the dismantling of armed infrastructure. Israel, for its part, said its military presence and operations in Lebanon was solely the result of threats posed by Hezbollah and other armed groups. Exactly, that had nothing to do with the Lebanese people or the government. The framework says the removal of that threat together with additional security arrangements would eliminate the need for future IDF military action or presence in Lebanon. But they cannot leave until this is achieved. Israel also declared that there's no territorial ambitions in Lebanon. We all know that. Nobody wants Lebanon. The United States will support the process through verification, military coordination, and conditional assistance to the Lebanese armed forces. Yeah, after Trump already said how he prefers Syria to take control of the situation. I don't trust anything you say anymore, Trump. I don't believe anything you say anymore, Trump. The agreement says new U.S. assistance will depend on verifiable milestones, transparency, demonstrated results, and continued oversight. Washington is also expected to rally international partners to support reconstruction, infrastructure repair, and economic recovery in Lebanon. But here what? Just as expected, Hezbollah rejected the agreement, accusing Washington of trying to derail what a terrorist group calls the Islamabad track, and warning that without the resistance, nothing will pass. I tell you this, it's not going to happen. It ain't going to happen. The Israeli Defense Force will have to finish the job. The group said Lebanese authorities would not be able to implement the commitment unless they were prepared to enter a civil war with U.S. backing and vow to confront any measure taken on the ground while holding on to its weapons even more. It ain't over, people. It ain't over. The Lebanese military might assist the IDF. It's only the IDF that God has given the capabilities to dismantle the very powerful Hezbollah terrorist organization, terrorist group in Lebanon.
Bible quote of the day. 2 Timothy 4:1-6. Paul's charge to preach the word and finish well. In the presence of God and of Christ Jesus, who will judge the living and the dead, and in view of his appearing in his kingdom, I give you this charge: preach the word, be prepared in season and out of season, correct, rebuke and encourage, with great patience and careful instruction. For the time will come when people will not put up with sound doctrine. Instead, to suit their own desires, they will gather around them a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear. They will turn their ears away from the truth and turn aside to myths. But you, keep your head in all situations, endure hardship, do the work of an evangelist, discharge all the duties of your ministry. For I am already being poured out like a drink offering, and the time for my departure is near.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe, most of all. In Jesus' name.